Hey traders, I'm Charting Man Dan of the Chart Guys. We've had the S&P 500 sideways for 6 weeks. We're going to check in on the charts here in just a moment. I'm going to lay out my bull thesis and also what would be red flags that would have me wrong. So my bull lean over the last couple of months has been derived from the Nasdaq and big tech. As we know, they have the most important weight in all of our major ETFs, and we have seen a very strong uptrend. So I'm going by the price action of weekly and daily uptrends, and I will remain bullish as long as that is the case. The number one reason that I will take a step back and reassess the situation would be weakness in the Nasdaq, and that would be bear volume, notable bear volume, a loss of the uptrend. For me right now, I don't even have to think twice about being a bull in the Nasdaq as long as we see, looking at QQQ, as long as 321.32 is support. That is my current short-term little gauge of strength, and we had the strongest close in 8 months or so in the Nasdaq today. So we're going to look at the other sectors that are key for me for the bull thesis to continue, because I don't believe it would be the Nasdaq that would be taking us higher. The Nasdaq needs to remain bullish, but what I'm looking for is our weaker sectors to strengthen a bit. And one thing that I've been talking about is, we've got our bull side of things, big tech in the Nasdaq pretty much, and we've got our bear side, financial sector, energy sector, IWM. And the question is, who's going to join whose team? Is the Nasdaq going to weaken and join Team Bear, or are our weak sectors going to strengthen and join Team Bull? And today, our weaker sectors strengthened and joined Team Bull. One day doesn't mean anything, but if we see what happened today start to happen more frequently, that will be our weaker names joining Team Bull. So today we had inside bars on SPY and QQQ. Pretty low-key day overall, but the most likely scenario was watch for an aggressive bear entry on the morning, on the inability to break the high of Friday, watch for an hourly higher low as a patient bull to try and hold the low of Friday, and we got both of those, and so we've got a tightening SPY and QQQ range. So daily inside bars, and again, if you look at SPY, we have not traded this sideways for 6 weeks in a very long time. And even just the last 7 days is just straight sideways because of the tug of war that's been going on. Team Bull and Team Bear have been very evenly matched over the last 6 trading days. And that's going to change. Somebody is going to join the other team. And so that's what we're looking for now. The Chart Guys Swing Report is running a free 1-month trial. For those of you that have not tried out the service yet, check out the links in the comments of this video for more information and where to sign up. Semiconductor, very strong. So the semiconductors had something where they've been on Team Bull for the most part. They've been relatively weaker the last few weeks, and today was the strongest semiconductor day we've seen in a while. We had a tightening daily range that broke bear, but what was notable on the bear break is both Thursday and Friday, these lower wicks, showing bulls buying the dip and playing a little bit of defense. When you break bear, you want to see closes near the lows, increasing bear volume, follow through to take out multiple support levels. And we didn't see that. We saw a couple lower wicks and then a complete turnaround with a big green Marubozu candle. And that then takes us to the highest levels that we've seen in over 3 weeks. And so the weekly bounce is underway for the semiconductors. If the Nasdaq weakens, it's possible that this is a weekly head and shoulders, but only if the Nasdaq weakens. So again, if QQQ breaks the support that I just highlighted, I'd take a step back and say, okay, things might be shifting here. My bull thesis may be weakening. And then I look to the semiconductors to potentially give us a weekly lower high. But if the Nasdaq is not weakening, then bulls don't have anything to worry about in the semiconductors, in my opinion. And what we're looking at right now in the semiconductors is potentially intra-sector rotation. And we've been seeing that in big tech, where Microsoft and Apple led the way up, and now they've been consolidating healthily. And then we had Amazon and Google take a turn. And so NVDA, we know, has been leading for months for the semiconductors. New daily higher low is set, 280.46. That's a back test of previous resistance, holding it as support, and right back up testing the recent high of 292.20. But we're looking at potential intra-sector rotation. Look at MU. Let's just compare NVDA monthly, straight up, 200% or whatever it's been, 180%. And now look at MU, sector peer. Way different. MU just broke. Let's go to the daily. Look at this wall at 64. The low 64s. MU just broke to the highest level that we've seen in 8 months. Over 8 months. And it's testing 65.42. And if that level breaks, it's going to get us to 11-month highs. And so MU is trying to act as a laggard in the semiconductors after a prolonged sideways tighter range, trying to now break bull. AMD had a bullish earnings reaction. It's trying to confirm a daily bull flag. And if AMD can get over 102.43, we're back to the highest levels that we've seen in 8 months. So semiconductor bulls want to see the weaker names compared to NVDA strengthen and not have all the weight on NVDA's shoulders to hold up the entire sector. XLV healthcare was our weakest major sector today, and it's been consolidating with a week of closes lower than the opens, but I'm seeing similar things to what we saw in SMH. The tightening daily range broke bear, but we're seeing these little lower wicks. So if we can break 132.85 on XLV, that would be a notable shift for me that would be similar to what SMH just did. Simple statement is if XLV cannot break 132.85, the bears keep full control. But if we have a green day tomorrow and break 132.85, it's definitely going to stand out as a very similar setup to what SMH just saw. Tesla is still definitely weaker in the market or versus the market right now. You can see Tesla had a base of support in the 166s that broke today, and the bounce in the hourly at the end of the day. Again, you look at QQQ closing up near the high of the day after a bounce all day, and Tesla consolidated for 3 of those hours. Tesla must hold the low of today and break the high of today tomorrow to confirm an hourly uptrend to try and shift momentum. Otherwise, the bears remain very confident. The weekly lower high has been set on Tesla. So straight V-shaped bounce of 100%. Lower high, lower low, lower high. Can the bulls hold 152 to try and set a weekly higher low and change the trend? They've got to prove something to us because they didn't do so today, down 1% when SPY and QQQ were both green. The financial sector is the key for me. Do we see our weakest sector, the sector that's been shaking for the last few weeks, strengthen? It's really been shaking the last couple of months with the regional bank situation. Does it strengthen? So weekly inside bar last week, and now currently one trading day, but a second weekly inside bar in a row. If the weekly inside bar breaks bullish, the weekly higher low is set, and the bulls will attempt to shape up a weekly trend change. But they're still proving to be dumb because we're in a daily lower high pattern. Every bounce is still lower highs. And for me, anything under 32.54 is just another daily lower high here. So we have to see the bulls prove to us. Again, the burden of proof is on the financial sector bulls. The burden of proof is on the Nasdaq bears. So XLF, a little bit of green today, but we did double top at the high of Friday, failed to break it. Have to get over that level tomorrow. KRE stood out with regional bank strength. I'm watching for this to try and be an Adam and Eve reversal pattern. And the reason that I have a bull lean on KRE is because a number of things, one of them being a poll that I did on Twitter with 600 plus participants where 80% said they expect another regional bank failure in May. And so that tells me if we do not get another regional bank failure in May, the bears are positioned wrong. They'll be positioned poorly. And so I'm now viewing this as every day that goes by where we don't have new bearish news, that's a win for the bulls. And so I'm watching for the potential that if it stays a quiet May, again, news can change everything. As we know, a headline can drop. But in the absence of a headline or a new collapse, I feel that we're going to grind higher and put pressure on shorts for this weekly oversold bounce to take place. We're getting a lot of 13F filings right now, which essentially is looking 6 weeks in hindsight as to what some major funds are doing. but that's influencing some things in the short term here. But we've got a weekly inside bar and now a second weekly inside bar. Can we see a weekly oversold bounce take place? Still lower highs. I've got 38.20 and 39.39 as a couple key resistance levels to be watching. But today was the strongest day that KRE has seen in multiple weeks. The question is it a one-hit wonder or can it keep that up? But again, for me, in my opinion, every day that goes by with no new headline is a win for the bulls. IWM has been weaker. It's got the same weekly setup, inside bar last week, and it came close to breaking it bullish today. If IWM breaks 176.02, it's going to be at the highest level in weeks. And it's going to be setting, if that level breaks, we will set the weekly higher low, and the bulls will be attempting to shape up the trend change. So growth names have been the weakest of the week. They had the major run up after the post CVID dump. They had a big retracement, and they haven't been participating in the market-wide 4 or 5 month bounce that we've been seeing here. And so you look at IWM, which has a lot of weight in the financial sector as well, but it's hanging out near the fear lows. And you look at a lot of these other names, ARKK, hanging out near the lows. There's a lot of them. A lot of growth names hanging out near the lows. NIO, just absolutely decimated, hanging out near the lows. So what I'm watching for is if the broader market bulls can keep their control, do we see laggard bulls catch up? Because we saw the biotech sector do that, but it's only been the biotech sector. It hasn't been all of growth. Underperforming and now playing catch up in a big way. And so ARKK, daily, big bear day Friday, big bull day today. I really like the tightening weekly range on ARKK. Low, high, higher low, lower high. Shorted it because of the weekly lower high. Covered because of weekly support. Anything under 40.51 is just another lower high, but if this tightening range breaks bull, I would call that a laggard bull move to what the broader market has been doing over the last bunch of months. PLTR, earnings momentum, trying to set a daily higher low and trying 1030, 1031, trying to get back to the highest level in 8 months. So a bunch of these growth names are trying to base out and now join the party very late. Again, you look at QQQ over the last bunch of months, and it's been a solid bounce. So any name that's been going sideways while the Nasdaq and S&P 500 bounce for 4 months have not been participating. And so the question is, do they play catch up? And do they start participating? One day, not enough. Keep an eye out for it. So biotech sector, as I mentioned, daily bull flag confirmed, fresh highs. So XBI getting back to the highest levels we've seen in 4 or 5 months. New daily higher low set, 84.69. And again, I do view the biotech sector as a part of growth, and all growth names are hoping that they see the same kind of laggard action that the biotech sector saw. And now 92.60 is a key longer term level. But bulls have the daily uptrend as their guide for biotech sector bull control. AI, big green day today. Earnings reaction, rebuttal to a short report, big weekly bounce. Creating the space, as I've been saying, I anticipate a monthly higher low is the most likely scenario after bouncing 300%. And now we have a big enough bounce on the weekly to be scouting a weekly higher low once we top out. A lot of strong names today have a lot of space for hourly higher lows to be the result of consolidation tomorrow. AI was just straight up. A lot of space for an hourly higher low. MU, AMD, Semiconductors, they've got space for hourly higher lows. So those are some names and some trades that I'm going to be watching for tomorrow. NVDA, space for an hourly higher low to be the result of consolidation. The dollar had a solid bounce to end last week. That's another factor. The dollar had its most bullish 2-day span in a few weeks, and it didn't do anything to shake the broader market. So I'm watching to see, is the dollar shaping up a weekly bear flag? We would have to see 50% retracement from the gains to end last week. It is a notable save of support for the dollar. We've got a base of support now. The question is, how big of a weekly bounce are we going to see? Is it a weak bounce for a bear flag, or do we get another leg up to then be looking for an equilibrium? So what the next daily consolidation looks like in the dollar is going to be meaningful to me watching that retracement size. Gold is a tight daily range, trying to set a daily high or low to remain within that tightening daily range. Bulls have to break the high of today, tomorrow. Silver dropped much more significantly to end last week. So again, as I was talking about, everybody was bullish on social media. Silver fails resistance and then drops 5% plus. So on any daily bounce, there's a lot of space for a silver daily lower high. And silver bulls are really hoping that the dollar weakens, because otherwise there's a possibility of a longer term lower high potentially shaping up here. Failing resistance. And if we start monthly consolidation, that's not going to be a good look. And obviously if gold can't break the all-time high and ends up with a triple top, that's not going to be a good look. Oil trying for a daily high or low. Bulls would have to break 73.89. Looks like there's a lot of your Google buying. Well, that was 3 months ago or 6 weeks ago. Ackman buying Google. So Ackman's very pleased with that buy because Google saw a significant leg up from that reporting. What were we talking about? Oil. Looking for a daily high or low. Bulls would have to break 73.89 to confirm a daily uptrend. But certainly space for it. Need to confirm a 4-hour uptrend for the daily high or low to be set. Natural gas bulls with the first daily uptrend confirmed in over 5 months. Little uptick in bull volume. Trying to see the first bull cross of EMA 12 and 26. It would be the first time all year if that were to happen. And if we take out 237, that will then be the bulls at the highest levels that we've seen in about 2 months. Natural gas futures needs to break 253, and that resistance is a bit further away. So we got the daily uptrend, and now the bulls are trying to shape up the weekly uptrend. High or low is set. Can you break resistance to confirm that higher high and get the monthly bounce underway? So the shift is on for natural gas bulls, and they need to keep control from here to continue proving to bulls that a longer term bottom is being set. All right. Watching that financial sector closely and the Nasdaq. Does the Nasdaq roll over and join Team Bear? Does the financial sector strengthen and join Team Bull? We'll be on top of it every day. Thanks for watching. Do good things.